Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we appreciate you coming on with us. And we will say hello in general because we can't see that scroll going by. Okay, guys, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you guys. We know that without this audience, where would we be? And thank you for that. Okay. Looking at our private Facebook group. Thank you for that. Looking at followers on Facebook. We're almost at 90,000. When we hit 90,000, we're going to have a party. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we will. And we're into the millions with an S downloading the podcast the doctor is in. So, guys, we thank you. We appreciate you. And we love you dearly, okay? And you know who you are. Our dear, faithful audience, and we appreciate it. Okay. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this morning short-term, long-term effects of insulin resistance, the short-term effects, long-term effects. We'll get into that, just do a little bit of teaching on that because, and I use the expression of sugar unattended. Okay, sugar unattended. Your body knows more than we know. You got equipment under the hood there in your body, guys, that is unreal. It's fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay, and your body knows more than the world knows. Okay, because your body knows sugar cannot be left unattended. It can't be. It's just so destructive in the blood. So you have an organ dedicated to getting sugar out of the way, getting sugar out. Okay? And no matter what, sugar can't stay in your bloodstream. And when it does, when it doesn't get moved, then you're in trouble. That's what diabetes is. Diabetes is sugar left in your bloodstream unattended. Okay? Then they put you on medications in order to help your pancreas get sugar out of your bloodstream. So if anyone tells you that sugar isn't destructive, run, Forrest, run. Because it's not true. And anyone that studies blood sugar for any length of time, you get that figured out. It's amazing to me that people in the healthcare field still haven't figured that out yet. Because really, if you want to take the term that almost everybody uses, somebody used it yesterday in my presence, and I just about lost it. No, I had to keep it under control. I said it inside though. How silly is that? And that is the term moderation. Like sugar's all right in moderation. No, it's not. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you're never going to have sugar. I'm just telling you that sugar unattended in your bloodstream, there's nothing good that happens with that. And I want to talk about short-term and long-term effects. In the short term, what happens? In the short term, sugar left unattended will destroy blood vessels. It happens pretty rapidly. Okay, because sugar needs to be stored out. Use it as energy right away, or it gets stored as fat. And the worst sugar in the world, and it ain't even close, is fructose. High fructose corn syrup. And because that's a different puppy altogether, and we've talked about that. The Antichrist of sugars. But let's look at short term, okay? Short term. And then we'll look at long term. Short term, what happens inside the body? Well, if you have sugar that's left unattended, your sugar goes up. What goes up must come down. Okay? Because sugar not going to stay up here. It'll kill you. Your body does everything to get it down. And unless you're a diabetic, where your insulin's not working anymore, insulin will do a job. So if you have sugar and it's left unattended, insulin's coming rushing to the scene. It's going to crash your blood sugars. So one of the first things that people see, and sometimes they don't even attribute this to their diet so much, is they get signs of hypoglycemia, low blood sugar. They got cravings, sugar goes up, insulin comes rushing in, and sugar crashes down. This is why, guys, I've talked about this for years. Your first meal of the day, okay? Is it your most important? Nah, not really, but it is important. It's important not necessarily that you eat it. Okay, a lot of people can not eat breakfast, and I got no problem with that. If you feel good and you can do intermittent fasting and only eat at 10 o'clock in the morning or only eat at noon, good for you. And I mean that. Good for you. I got no problem with it. Diabetics usually can't do that at all. They got to eat. But it's what you eat. It's fuel. It's what you eat. You know, oatmeal. Big X through it. Don't eat oatmeal. You don't need it. You're not a horse. And certainly don't eat it in the morning. Okay? You want to eat oats? You want to have porridge? Don't do it. You know, I'm there. Don't do it. Why? Because, and they've shown this, even steel cut oats, okay? Dr. Martin, it's steel cut. Yeah, I know that. But they've done the testing on it. Your blood sugar skyrockets because oats are turned to sugar rapidly. What goes up must come down. So you don't want to start your day with oatmeal. You don't want to start your day with any cereal. You don't want to start your day with a granola bar. A lot of people do. You don't want to start your day with toast. A lot of people do. You don't want to start your day with an English muffin. And a lot of people do. You don't want that. Why? Sugar goes up and it must come down. Insulin's going to be coming at you big time. It has to. Because that food is turned to sugar rapidly. If you make a better choice in the morning, eggs, bacon and eggs, sausages and eggs. My grandmother liked steak and eggs. Ham and eggs. Far better. There's nothing better than having that in the morning. If you're going to eat the right things. And have a coffee with it. Because coffee is a natural metformin. Metformin is used by the pharmaceutical industry and all the physicians to regulate blood sugar. Well, coffee is a natural metformin. Because a lot of people ask me about berberine and whatever. Look, I got no problem with that. Okay? I read all the studies too. I got no problem with it, but I like coffee. Now don't ruin your coffee with sugar. You're ruining it. Okay? But guys, I'm just saying, the unintended consequences, like right away, is sugar goes up when you're eating the wrong foods, and it must come down. And a lot of people suffer with hypoglycemia. They eat the wrong food. Let's say they have oatmeal. Blood sugar spikes. Blood sugar must come down. Comes down, your blood sugar comes way down. You know what happens? You're hungry again. And guys, short-term effects, think of this. Think of a kid. Now, teachers know this. Okay? Teachers know this. What did you have? Like, you had a Pop-Tart for breakfast this morning? Way up, way down. Agitation. Lack of focus. They're like they're all over the place. And some kids are canaries in the coal mine because they're so hypersensitive. They're hypersensitive to the fluctuations in blood sugar. Okay? And you know, I saw this hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times in my office. And I used to take a kid, okay? And, you know, mommy and daddy with them, or just mommy or whatever. And I grabbed them like this. I say, come here. You're smart, aren't you? I say, I want you to listen. Okay? You and sugar don't get along. Okay? I know, but I like it. I didn't say you didn't like it. I'm just telling you, you don't get along. You got a bad relationship. Sugar is the wrong fuel for your body. It's wrong for everyone, but sometimes kids, really wrong for them. Okay? Not all of them, because some get away with it, you know, more than others. You never really get away from it, because we'll talk about long term. But in the short term, some kids, you know, it doesn't seem to bother them too much. But some, we know. And there isn't a parent in the world that doesn't know this either. You know, like at night, you know, grandparents want to give their grandchildren sugar, and parents are often going, would you stop that? We got to go home with them. And I'm trying to put them to bed. They're going to be bouncing off the walls. Stop it, grandparents. Grandparents, we just don't know how to say no, okay? But all I'm saying is, guys, you have experienced this. When I used to tell kids in the office, kids are smart. I said, well, when you choose the wrong food, especially in the morning, you're going to be in trouble at school. And I said, really? It's not your fault. It's the way you're built. And you gotta be disciplined, and you have to understand that you have to understand, and I'm going to go through a list with you, that all these things that I'm talking to you about right now turn to sugar rapidly, and you don't do well with that. I'm never saying you can't have it. I'm telling you, just understand it. Okay? And I never tell a kid, you can never have ice cream in your life. I don't do that. I want a plan to succeed, not to fail. But I love education. And like I said, a 5-year-old gets it. If they're always in trouble. You know, and mommy and daddy, you need an education. Make the kid bacon in the morning. I say to the kid, okay, got their little face like there. Do you get this? You like bacon? Yeah, I like bacon. Yeah, me too. I said, that's what I want you to eat in the morning. You like bacon? Oh, I love bacon. Eat it. Yeah. You like eggs? Yeah. Well, eggs. You like sausage? Yeah. I like that. Well, eat that. That's what I want you to have. In the morning. Okay. And then mommy and daddy, you got the memo? Yeah. Because this little kid here, when you put the wrong fuel in their tank, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. And so, you know what I'm getting at? Don't give them oatmeal. Don't give them Cheerios. Don't give them Frosted Flakes. Cocoa Crisp and whatever else. I go through the middle aisles of the grocery store, and I can't get over how many cereal, and they're all colorful. No wonder kids want that stuff. Right? Tony the Tiger. They're great. Nah, not really. So you can't have that stuff. You won't do well on that. And by the way, nobody does, okay? Nobody does well. It just some people, they don't come apart at the seams right away. They will later. They will later. And we've been eating the wrong foods, especially for breakfast, for a long time. For a long time. And the sugar they sweeten those cereals with is high fructose corn syrup, because it's easy, it's cheap, and very, very addictive. Okay? So, fatigue sets in for a lot of people. Kids, they get wired up, but a lot of adults, short term, will experience fatigue because the fluctuations in blood sugar. The fluctuations in blood sugar. It's amazing. They get fatigued. They get brain fog. It's amazing. People find this out on the reset. They might find the first week very difficult at first because it's such a big change for people when they're eating only eggs, meat, and cheese, and there's no sugar in their diet. And there's nothing that turns to sugar rapidly that they're eating. Because they're eating nutrient-dense foods. And they find it's different. Well, your body's changing fuel. You were used to living on glucose. And your brain at first goes, what are you doing? Okay? I'm reacting to that. It's a change. And for some people, it's very dramatic. It's a big change. They're eliminating that fluctuations in blood sugar. And the body says, what are you doing? I don't understand it. But your body will understand it. And insulin is given a holiday. And, you know, it doesn't understand at first. Go away. You know, I mean it. You're on a holiday. I want you out of my life for 30 days. Insulin, go away. And it makes a big difference. And it can affect, at first, it can, you know, short-term effects can affect sleep. Sugar is destructive for sleep. It's amazing how many people, and there's other factors, of course, for sleep. And one of the things that is a short-term effect too is your immune system. That wonderful immune system that your body has. And I've shown this to patients over the years. Sugar will put your T cells, your first responders, they'll put them to sleep. You're so much more susceptible to getting a cold and a bug. And that happens pretty rapidly with sugar. Okay? I used to say this all the time years ago on my radio show. Are you planning a holiday? Okay? You're traveling, especially with airfare and that. You're usually up early in the morning, so you don't get a good night's sleep. That affects your immune system rapidly. They've shown that. Like it really decreases your immune system. And then you're eating in an airport, or then you get, you know, you're on a holiday, you're at a resort, and, you know, hey, I'm on a holiday. And then you get sick. You know how many people get a horrendous cold on a holiday? It's amazing. Or a flu bug or whatever. Their immune system got hijacked from, you know, the change in sleep and then the change in diet, or, you know, never mind if there's alcohol involved. Like fructose and alcohol get metabolized in the same way. Anyway, it's the short-term effects. A lot of people, I used to see this in the office a lot of times, the short-term effects, and then could be long-term, are migraines. Migraines. Amazing. And there's other things involved, like magnesium, for example. But sugar destroys magnesium in the body. And so, migraines. How many people change their diet? And they found a huge, huge difference in migraines. What? Yeah. It wasn't the only thing, but it was a major thing. So sugar is very destructive in the short term. This is why, you know, when people talk about your first meal of the day being the most important, to some extent that's true. But it's not because of the meal itself. It's what you're eating at that meal. And there's really nothing neutral. It's either really good for you or it's really bad for you. And like I said, I get the kids and I go, bread, you don't do so well with that. Okay? And then you put jam on it. Or it's a whole wheat English muffin. Or it's a muffin. Dr. Martin, it's a carrot muffin. Yeah, with 8 teaspoons of sugar in it. It's a cake. It ain't a muffin. You might as well have a birthday cake. What's the difference? And again, I want people to succeed. I wanted kids to succeed, not to fail. I wanted them to understand. It was amazing how smart they were. And I said, well, listen, I don't want you to leave the planet. I'm on your side. I just want to tell you, you can make better choices. And at the end of the day, your parents are going to help you to make it. But you got to decide that this is right. Otherwise, you're going to sneak candy in, or you're going to be an unhappy puppy. I said, don't compare yourself to other kids. You have to understand what it is. And food, food becomes your medicine. Eat the right foods. You're going to be better. You'll notice it. And then it gets easier. Guys, I haven't had cereal for breakfast for 50 years. What? I just haven't. Okay, I guess if I was on an island and I hadn't eaten in a week, I'd have a bowl of cereal. I don't know. I'm just telling you, you form habits. You know me and habits. You form habits. And some people, they don't like the reset because they want variety. And I said, well, if you lived 100 years ago, you had a variety of meats. That's a variety. We're used to variety, and I'm not saying, but guys, I'm a creature of habit, and I get people, be a creature of habit. Look at food and say, is this good for me? Is this high octane? Is this helpful? Is this, and especially if you're in the 93% of the population, 93%. You got a food disorder. What do you do about it? Well, eat the right foods. Becomes a habit. Take the meat you like and live on it. You like eggs? Beautiful. Good dairy? You like butter? Yeah, butter up your eggs. Butter up your meat. Butter up your steak. You want to take a plain Greek yogurt? Okay, I got no problem with that. I love dairy, guys. I love dairy. We wouldn't have near the issues. Dairy is inflammatory. Yeah, bad dairy is. There's some bad dairy. I don't like milk. Okay, unless it's the cow in the backyard milk. I don't want people drinking dairy. They got mummy's milk. After that, drink water and coffee. When you're old enough, start drinking coffee. I never got tired of that. You tired of coffee? I know, you want your tea. Okay, have a tea. But we don't need to drink. I mean, unless, and kids, by the way, one of the best things you could do, and I had thousands of parents, and I mean this, giving their kid a smoothie in them. I said, you want to give them something that they'll really like? They think they went to McDonald's? Give them a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. I said, you're feeding their brains with the right fat and protein. Make a smoothie for them with the right stuff. I go to the malls and I see these places where they got I said, man, the amount of sugar, the amount of fructose, it's crazy. Anywho, Okay. So I wanted to talk about short-term effects. Okay. Obviously, the brain, like the wiring gets affected very quickly. Blood vessels get affected very quickly. The immune system gets affected very quickly. Your sleep patterns can get affected very quickly. So can hormones, by the way. It's amazing how many women especially find out when they cut out the sugars, how much better their hormones get pretty quickly. Okay, not all of them, but I'm telling you. And even men with testosterone. Sugar just destructive to testosterone. Okay, we'll talk about the long-term effects. Okay, we'll get into that. But I just wanted to go over that. Okay? So what are you having for breakfast? Bacon and eggs? No toast? You're a winner. Okay. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.